Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to do a show and I'm not going to tell. So I just wanted to go through some things of what I've been working on over the winter and kind of give you an update on what I ended up doing and not doing and why I did it and all that type of thing. So as you recall, I did a video on the Terminator and it's actually a really good truck. I'm really tickled with it. I left it basically all stock. I added a different receiver in it, and I kind of, even though I use it, it's basically bought for my wife because, as you guys know, she has a little Delta Force 29, and her Delta Force 29, she just needs more practice. So I thought I'd get the truck. It was actually about the same speed. It runs 30, 35 miles an hour, something like that. And she could get used to it out in the yard. I've got a really huge front yard. It's about the size of a football field. And she can get used to driving the car. And once she gets more used to driving the car, so it can roll over whatever it does, and she'll be able to run the boat a little bit better. So that's the whole purpose of this. It's actually a really fun truck. It jumps really nice. I gave it a good review. I would give it probably a 8 out of 10. The one thing I don't like about it is the body is really flimsy. It feels like decent Lexan, but it's cracked quite a few times here, and I've had to patch it, and there was no reason for it to crack there. But other than that, I really like the truck. It's easy, it runs good, works good, even on the small motor. This is the cheaper model. I think it was like 200 bucks. But good truck. So from there, I kind of wanted a crawler. So what I ended up doing is I built this one. So this is my four-wheel steer. As you can see, it's got steering in the back as well as in the front. And it's got injora axles, which kind of a pro and a con. They're relatively inexpensive. I found some other ones that I like a little better for about the same money, if not maybe a little less. It's got a set of Desert Lizards, 110 millimeter. I set it up with the droop, as you can see, and it works pretty good. I put my little camera on there off of my tugboat because I wanted to drive it underneath my shed to see what's under there. So that's why that's on there. But that thing works really good. Yeah, it takes a battery. It's probably not the best crawler, but you know what? I have a lot of fun with it. The only issues I've had, the biggest issues I've had with the Injoras is I blew 2 ring and pinions. They just weren't shimmed correctly, so I had to go back in there. I bought new ring and pinions and put them all in there and then re-shimmed everything so they're perfect. The other issue, and I'm not sure you can see this, I'll try to put a picture of what happens to them right here. Okay, so you can see the pins on the universal joints come out. So what I've done is I've actually took the pins and I ground on the top of the universal joint where the pins are, and I actually welded them. I've got a MIG welder, and I just gave them a little tack and then sanded them down so they're smooth again. But that was the only way I could keep those axles from spitting those pins. And the problem when they spit the pins is it starts hitting on the C-hub right there. So that's never any good. But other than that, that thing is really a lot of fun. It's got a lot of articulation, both front and rear. So I really enjoy it. It's a good little buggy. I added the LED light, and that's that. So then from there, as you know, I built another Injora one, but I have since sold that. So what I ended up doing is I was online and I was looking at everything, and I really enjoyed what I saw, and I built that. Now, I've got a video on this as well. I found a guy that had a file for this roof, and I really wanted a roof. And my friend at RDM 3D, Rob, he actually has a printer, and he printed that for me, and I give him shout outs for that. That was really, really sweet, really nice, and I really like it the way it is. This is running a Holmes Hobby 2100. I put a 70 tooth 32 pitch metal gear. I found a metal gear, there's a video on that, and slowed it down. It's got the 2-speed in it. It's got Trill front and rear axles. This one is also 4-wheel steer, which is really cool. The only things I have left to get for this, I've got the Trill wheels, those tires. I also have the factory tires with some other wheels as well. So I've got a set of different style, and then I also have these, which are off of something else that we'll get to in a minute. And so these are 2.2s as well. They're not quite as tall, pretty close to those, but the factory ones are freaking huge. So anyway, so I have 3 sets that I can run on this, depending on what I want to do, and that's fine and good. I also, if I get real crazy and want to, I have a set of paddles for it too. Obviously they're a little smaller, but that's what I found. So the only things I have left that I want to do on this is I want to get the Trill servo savers, and they make the little bracket that goes here so you can reposition the front shock from here to back here. So those are the 2 things that I want to get for it: a pair of the servo savers and those shock mounts. The reason with the servo savers is if you do jump this, which the thing is ungodly fast, that's why I put the 70 tooth and tried to slow it down. But what it'll end up doing is it'll come and catch a wheel like that or something and jerk it, and it'll strip the servo horns. So I'd rather have the servo saver in there and sacrifice a little bit of the rock crawling control. But it's really a fun unit. It's fast as heck. It's named after a good friend of mine. They call her Little Grasshopper. So shout out to her. She knows who she is. And yeah, so it's a fun vehicle. So then I decided I wanted to do something a little different. So I ended up building this. So that's a Injora hardbody. It's the Jeep, and it's actually an Injora chassis. Now the Injora chassis came with Injora axles, and those are a little bit to be desired. I had a set of the Injora shocks on there, the original Injora shocks that came with the chassis kit. They leaked where you threaded them together. They leaked at the bottom. They leaked everywhere. They just poured oil no matter what you did. They just poured oil out of everything. So I replaced them. These are Toomod, T-O-O-M-O-D, and these things haven't leaked a bit. And they work pretty good, and I don't have any problems. I added magnets in the front, and I have pins in the back, just so that I know I won't lose it. So I have 2 holes, and I put pins in the back. The front, I didn't want pins in the hood, so we did that. I don't care that the battery's in the back. Yeah, I could put it sideways. There's a lot of things you could do, but I just like it the way it is. It's got a Hobby Wing Fusion Pro 2300, and I put the winch on there, which is not hooked up yet. Eventually I'll get to it. I just got to buy the $20 unit for it, and then that'll hook up. I tried buying a aluminum. The problem with the Injora plastic transfer case is the screws were all stripped from when I got it. So I thought, well, I'll just buy a new aluminum one. I got the aluminum one, and it was so bad that this shaft would move back and forth like 3/16 of an inch. It was really, really horrible. So I sent it back, and I just used the factory one, and I took I've got the helicoils for 3 mil, and I just put helicoils in the base of this, and that tightened it right up. Also, their drive shafts are a little bit to be desired, so I had to replace all the drive shafts. If I'd known that I was going to have to replace all that stuff, I would have just bought a frame, the transmission, this one here, and a transfer case, and I just bought all the parts. Because I ended up having to change the shock towers so that I could use these here to bolt it all together. So it was a pain. I would just buy it all around. The axles that came with it were so bad that I drove it in some rocks real easy. I mean, not banging anything, just kind of crawling up. And they literally bent at the front. They bent here just a little bit, bent here, to where the axles were literally bent inside the axle housing. So I was able to take them apart, and I was able to straighten them for the most part pretty good. And then I decided to get some different axles. These are oh god, I don't remember. I'll put the link in the description. I got these off of AliExpress. These were really nice. When I pulled them apart, they had a lot of grease in them. Everything was good. However, I had the same problem with the pins on the universal joints, where they're starting to come out. So again, I had to do the same thing on this one. I drilled and tapped them, or drilled and sanded them. The back axle, I ended up catching it on something, and it broke that axle clean as a whistle, like nothing. So I ended up putting new axles in there, fixed the front axles. The company I got them from off of AliExpress actually refunded me the money for one of the axles for them being broke and the pins falling out. It was just ridiculous. But all in all, I got it all working, and it works really well. Crawls nice. It's got decent articulation. It's not superb, but that's not bad, you know. It's front-mounted motor. I believe these are 100 millimeter shocks, I believe. And works pretty good. So no complaints with the Jeep. Jeep runs really well, and I really enjoy it. I didn't quite get the cab mounted exactly correct. It needs to go a little bit farther back, or change the lengths, but I'm not going to mess with anything. It's still exactly like I want it. I did buy a metal bumper. That's the Injora one. It's got lights in it. I also have headlights, taillights on it. The doors open on the Injora. I like the body. The body's really nice. I don't know if I would change anything different on it, but it's been a really good vehicle. You can see it's all kind of dirty. These were wheels off of AliExpress. I don't know about now, but when I bought these, I ended up buying like 3 sets, and they had them, and I'll show you the tire in a minute. The same tires that were on the tires and wheels that are on the little red, the crawler, this one here. All right. So I got this set. These are different tires, but same wheels, just different colors. And I ended up paying like $25 delivered for a set of 4. And they're actually really nice wheels. So if you go there and you look around, it was funny because I bought them, and then I went back to buy another pair, and it wouldn't let me buy them. So I had to go to a different ad with different wheels, and then you could buy them. So it might have been like a one-time deal, and they knew who you were or something like that. I don't really know, but I ended up getting like 3 sets, maybe 4. So then I ended up getting her this. So this is a TRX4 High Trail Sport, which is no longer a High Trail, and it's still a Sport. So it has the standard 1-speed transmission, and I changed the big tires to the little tires and put a set of 90 millimeter shocks on it, and I changed the servo mount, and that was all you have to do to change it from a High Trail to a standard height unit. She didn't like it as high as it was, and this would be really good for her. So I also put a Fusion Pro 2300 in here for her, and it crawls really nice. It works really well. So I have no issues at all. I put a set of 2 TOO MOD shocks on it, 2 mod, and those are 90mm shocks. If anybody knows where you can find springs for these, because I believe the inside diameter is 16mm, some of the other shock springs just don't fit, but I'd like to soften it up a little bit more if I could, and these are a little bit on the stiff side for me, but they are what they are. But that's kind of what I've been working on here as of late over the winter, and it's been just, winters are just tricky, I guess. Sometimes you got the good ones and sometimes not so much. There we go. Anyway, that's her little four-wheeler. Unlike a lot of the videos that I saw online on how to convert these from a high trail to a standard, you have to change the front lengths and the lowers and the uppers, and you got to change the drive shaft lengths, so you got to buy the little pieces for that. And I found you didn't have to do any of that. All you have to do is change that servo mount and put a different set of shocks on it, and you're good to go. As you can see, it appears to me everything lines up really well. Let's straighten that. So I don't have any issues with it at all. So that's kind of what's been going on. We've got another video hopefully coming out, and that is on the R4 outrigger. So we've worked on that this spring and tried to finish it all up, and I think we're getting pretty close. So I'm probably, I was thinking about it, I'm going to paint the sponsons, probably do a line from right down the center, and I'll paint the top halves and leave the bottom halves wood. There's 2 coats of epoxy on everything, and I'll paint this the same color as those. I may or may not do a stripe and paint the top half of this as well. I don't know, we'll see. Everything's all done, basically. The only thing I have left to do for gluing is put these in and glue those in. I've got the holes drilled, and I have to drill the holes into the boom tubes, so that hasn't been done. But once I get that done, then it's just a matter of lining it up, getting the toe in set, all that, and drill them, and then we'll all be done. But I'm not going to glue these in yet until I have it painted. So that's on the waiting list right there. The motor is a 2280 rocket, and it's got a might be a Hobby Wing cooling can, and I'm going to run a 150 amp fly color with my custom water cooling head on it, or jacket, or whatever you want to call it, right there. There's a brief video on how to do that once you find the proper material. It's actually really, really easy. You basically just use thermal paste. Let's put it up here. Or thermal glue, rather. So you just get a little this. I got this off of Amazon. And you put it all on there, and then I squeeze it in a vise. Not like crank it down hard where I'm busting stuff, but squeeze it down so it holds it all together, squishes it all where it needs to be, and let it set overnight, and the next day you got a perfectly good water cooling jacket. I changed this one a little bit. Normally the 2 hoses go out straight out the front, and for this particular application I couldn't do that, so I put a 90-degree in one of them. I plugged the other one, then re-drilled another hole here and tapped it so that I could have another 90-degree, so it's coming out straight. So the water is going to come in, and the rudder's been modified, so it's got a bigger hole in it than you'd normally get. And then I drill the hole down through the center bigger, and then I'm running the hose, and it's going to, I forget which side, it's going to the front up here. Okay, so it's going up to the front, coming out the top, and goes to the bottom side right here, the motor, and fills up the motor, comes out the top of the motor and out the front. So that's how the water cooling set up. I did have to, one thing about Fly Color is their leads are really, really short. So that's where the leads were. So I added some other 10 gauge to it and added my QS8. And that'll go here. The battery goes back here. For now, I'm not going to do anything for a motor battery bracket. I'll probably just use foam and pack it in there. And that's all fine. Here is the servo mount. Get it focused. And I'm waiting for the servo. I found a 40 kg, one of the red ones from like Amazon, but from AliExpress it was like $17. So that's coming. That'll be here in a couple weeks. And the other change that I've made, and it's got to get used to it, but what I've done, let me move this back here a little bit so it's not, the rudder's not sitting there, is I put a magnet right here, and it's got a magnet here. This foam will stay because that'll protect the battery. And then this goes, it's got like a little ducktail right there. Let's see, come on, focus, 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 focus. There we go. It's got a little ducktail. And so that slips right underneath there, goes unshut, and come on, right there. Pops right on. Now, if you can see, I got a little bit of a gap here. And that goes away, right? So it's a matter of I've got to get everything adjusted. These hoses, this wire, that's probably why those need to go down there. Put a little zip tie down there. And see, it's not as bad. So what I got to do is this has got a natural little bend in it from when I got it. And so I'll heat this up. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can kind of see it. It's got a little bit of a bow right here. And then I'll heat it up and press it down so it'll all fit really nice. So that's the way that is. This piece here, because the magnet is really strong, that's actually there's a screw that would go through there, and it was come on, focus. There it goes. And it's actually a screw deal from the side of a case of a computer. So I just took that out. I pushed the screw out of it. I got a 3mm cap screw on there, and it goes in that way. And then I ended up putting a self-locking nut on the top. So this shouldn't go anywhere, and that should work just fine. So that's my R4, as you know. We'll just move this one off to the side a minute. The last thing that I've got that's kind of new is we still have the Midnight 3, or Dumas Little Rascal, however you want to put it. And we still got to do a maiden voyage on this. So this is running a 2958. I think it's a 3280 or 50. I don't remember what the KV is on it, to be honest with you. Battery goes up here. I have no idea how this is going to work. Originally when I built this, and I'll put a picture here, show you what it looks like. So that was what it looked like when I bought it, when I built it, like 1998, 97, 98. So that's how old this boat is. And I had a OS Max 15 CVX car engine in it, and it ran like $1 million. And the cute story is, back here was the this was just all open. Actually, it went up to here. The fuel tank went up here, and the motor sat right here, and then the drive line and the radio sat back here. And I had the button set up to where when you pushed it down, it would shut it off, and then you'd pull it up. And I did that so that way if you were in the car or something fell on it, it wouldn't turn the thing on and run the battery dead, right? Well, the vibration of the motor and that thing running in the water, it ended up shutting the thing off when I'm running it. I'm wide open, and it's heading right to the bank. It flew, literally flew out of the pond and tumbled down a gravel road. And all it did was it broke this sponson right here. It broke this sponson loose from here, because that's just two wood screws holding it in. And it had a Octura, hardware on it, and it bent the rudder and it bent the strut bracket. I straightened them all out, and it was fine. I ran it quite a bit after that. So we'll see how it goes on electric. Should be really interesting, and hopefully I'll have that video for you guys pretty soon. But it's all ready to go. So I just gotta throw a battery in it and launch. So that's kind of it. The last thing that I have is the Snap-on boat, which we got 62 miles an hour out of it at H2O Mechanic RC, and that was a great trip, by the way. Thanks, shout out to Phil for the invitation and the hospitality and everything he gave me out there. My wife and I had a wonderful time, and there's some videos of that. You can see the Slimer and a little bit of the Snap-on boat. Snap-on boat got overheated, the wires, and it broke loose. If you guys watch the video, you'll see. But I've remedied that, and I went to a 4068, I think it is, 4068 Leopard 2600. And I have run the boat once. I didn't do a video on it, and it got 57 miles an hour in my little pond, and that was with my slower propeller on it. So I think I should still be able to get into the 60s with that and have a lot better reliability factor. So I'm happy about that. So that's kind of the last thing that we've got. Hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by, visiting, checking out what we've been doing. And I guess the other thing we have, we didn't speak of, is we still have the extra 300 to go fly. So this has got that new W-Fly transmitter that I reviewed, and I haven't flown it with it yet, but we're going to do that here hopefully this summer. Just a matter of getting me out there to do it. So that's what we got going on. So hey, thanks for stopping. Oh, you know what? I did forget one thing. Son of a gun. I wanted one other crawler, and I completely forgot about this one. And this is I kind of like this one. It's one of my favorites, just because. And it's this one. Wow. Forgot about that. Now, I built this modestly, okay. This was a Power Hobby kit, chassis kit. And what you got was, you got the carbon fiber chassis and all that, these two little side wings, and you got the links, and that was it. Okay, so that was, I think it was like 60 bucks, or no, $45 for that. So again, these are the same axles I ended up putting in the Jeep. I actually bought these first and then bought the ones for the Jeep because I liked these so well. And this is set up for semi-droop. It doesn't droop all the way, but it'll stay and do what it needs to do. Low center of gravity mount. I bought that. It comes with a motor mount plate, but I didn't want to use it. It was plastic. And so I bought an aluminum one. It was like $14. Transmission is like 20 bucks. It's got a Hobby Wing Fusion Pro 2300 in it. And of course the Desert Lizard shocks. And this thing is really, really nice. Got the 40 kg servo in it. The body didn't come with the body. I bought the bumper. I wanted a bumper on the front for sure. And then I took the extra piece that went in the bumper that was right here and put it in the back. I had to buy drive shafts. It kind of told you what ones it needed, kind of. It wasn't too difficult. I don't remember the length, but man, that back one is long, guys. I might buy a longer one because it's stretched out so far. Anyway, this is a Red Cat body, and the reason I got this one, number one, I'd say red's probably my favorite color. But besides that, it was red and it looked good. It was only $17. So I kept this one down price-wise as low as I could and still get a Class 2, which is what I wanted. The motor, if you guys are looking for a Hobby Wing Pro, I found the two that I bought on AliExpress, and they were like $90. And if you look, the 1800s are selling for right at about $80. So I thought, geez, for $10 more, why would I not go with the 2300? So that's why I have the two 2300s. Otherwise, the 1800s are really, really good as well. But anyway, this thing crawls really nice. It's really smooth and it's quiet. I like that. The Jeep is quiet as well. Pretty much all of them. This has got basically the same transmission as what's in Little Red, I call it, the little four-wheel steer. But anyway, that's the last item on the agenda. So I'm really happy with this thing. This thing just is really, really cool to drive. Works really nice. And my semi-plan is I've got these tires and wheels. These are the Canyon Trails. And I'm going to put a set of these on this instead. And I also, if I want to, I could probably put those on there. They might be a little bit too big, but we'll see. In the meantime, that's all I have for you guys. So hey, thanks for stopping by. Throw a comment in there. Let me know what you think. What's your favorite? You know, I didn't show you the other 3 boats, but the other thing that's coming up is the Genesis. I have a Genesis. And I took it to Phil's house and dropped it off there, and so he ran it and he got it working. I've had it running, but I figured if he wanted to play with it, he could do. But I think when I get that back, I'm going to convert that to a twin. So that's my other project. That'll probably be this winter. We've got the Golf racing boat, the 33-inch Delta Force, and I've got the Smash Shark from TFL. So that's really about all I've got. I think that's more than enough. So we're just going to keep tweaking on these a little bit and getting them perfected and see what happens. So throw a comment in there. Tell me what one you like the best and why. And by all means, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. We'd really appreciate it. And we'll try to do a little bit more videos more often instead of these random every month or so. So hopefully we can start getting back into the action of doing one a week. So take care. Have a great day. We'll catch y'all again.